Hi, everybody. This is Paul Finkelstein with OMG Talk Small Business Podcast. We are going to run this meeting exactly in the same agenda format that you are used to seeing at a local Toastmaster meeting in 145 countries. So we're pretty excited about that. A lot of our members here have been to a Toastmasters meeting in one of 145 countries. And there's online Toastmasters clubs as well. But this is not a Toastmaster meeting, but we are using the exact same agenda format because a lot of us are Toastmasters and we can give our clubs one meeting outside of our club meeting credit to our club and the individual practicing as well. I'm your master of ceremonies. I'm Paul Finkelstein here today. And I'll be running this podcast for today. Look forward to having some more guests. Every Monday, we'll be increasing the guests. But let's start off with some inspiration. I have a book over here that it actually opens up to an inspiration that says anonymous in the book. So it was put together, the Portable Pep Talk by Alexander Lockhart, author of uh, Positive Charges. I wanted to say Positive Changes. But inside the book, there is an excerpt that is anonymous, so he didn't know where it came from. So it's a compilation, and this is one of them. Let me read this to you. Take time, it's called. Take time to work. It is the price of success. Take time to think. It's the source of power. Take time to play. It's the secret of perpetual youth. Take time to read. It's the foundation of wisdom. Take time for worship. It's the highway to reverence. Take time to be friendly. It's the road to happiness. Take time to dream. It's a hitching one's wagon to a star. Take time to love and be loved. It is a privilege of the gods. Take time to live. It's the one secret of success. Take time for friendship. It's a source of happiness. Take time to laugh. It helps lift life's load. That's our inspiration for today. And we'll give ourselves applause. And please give me some applause too in the comments wherever you see this, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook or X or YouTube, etc., whatever social media you're seeing this on or alignable. Our next is the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance because the founders of Toastmasters, many Toastmasters go to clubs where they start off their meetings after an inspiration, or maybe that is their inspiration, is the Pledge of Allegiance, because the founder of Toastmasters, Ralph Smedley, started a Toastmasters club in October 1924. And I believe most clubs have the Pledge of Allegiance in it. So let's rise and do that as well. You can put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let's clap for that as well. And we have two words of the day. Usually a Toastmasters club has one word of the day, but we're going to give you two words of the day. What's interesting is that the definition of the word talk has a lot of words. Speak, to give information, express ideas, feelings, communicate, spoken words. But the word listen doesn't have too many words in it. Maybe that's by design because the word listen means to give one's attention to a sound. Very interesting. So those are our two words of the day. So if you could say the word listen in your next speech or the word talk in your next speech at your local Toastmasters club, and then give me a shout out by emailing me at wow@omgtalk.com. That would be great. Super. All right, so you could just email me at wow@omgtalk.com and let us know if you use the word talk or the word listen in it. Now, we're going to do some self-introductions, and I'm basically going to introduce myself during the self-introductions. And I am Paul Finkelstein. I'm from the Rockland County area in New York, but that's about more than 29 years ago today. More than 29 years ago. Now I am in Delray Beach, Florida, South Palm Beach County. So if you're in the Palm Beach County area, I run a in-person networking event. The last 3 months, we've had over 50 different registrations. Oh, let's see. There's a doorbell. Somebody might be joining me here today. That's kind of interesting. Hello, Mary Stanley. Will you be joining me here today on my small business
Yeah.
podcast? Running it just like a Toastmasters meeting, but you're going to be used to it today because we started on time. We're going to end on time. We started at 5:30. We already you missed the inspiration. We did the Pledge of Allegiance for you, but it'll be up on the recording. And we have two words of the day that you could remember to say. It's interesting. The word is talk and listen. Which I definition, if you look it up, the word talk has a lot of words, but the word listen, maybe by design, and the definition on look up your Google definition, you'll find the word listen. There's not a lot of words to it. Maybe I think maybe that's ironic or on purpose. It says give one's attention to a sound. That's all the one definition said. And then talk said speak to give information, express ideas, feelings, communicate, and spoken words. But now we're going to go back to our self introductions. I'm your master of ceremonies here today and running it just like a Toastmaster meeting, but really it's just OMG Talk podcast for small businesses. And Mary Stanley is going to tell us where she's from, where she used to be, where she thinks she's at now. Maybe she's on a rocket ship with that chair. So introduce yourself, but it's not meant to tell us about your business because you'll get a chance to talk for 6 minutes and shine the light on you when we upload our podcast onto your platform.
All right. So you want to listen and hear a little bit about me as a person besides my business? I'm willing to talk.
Oh yeah. Just where you're from.
So I am from Children of the Cornland, Minnesota, about an hour from the Iowa border.
I could vouch that I could tell she has the same child actors in the background, and she says that every time she does her introduction. So I know that it's her. It's like a driver's license photo. I see the shadows. It's like a
Ow! Are you okay?
that's
Ow! Then
hello,
you need to go find your dad.
hello junior of the corn, children of the corn. I think this is the children of the corn you've been talking about.
That is one of the Children of the Corn. Oh, but here you go.
And for those people on the podcast, you have heard one of the children of the corn. Yes, we'll just. What else? I already said where I'm from, but for Mary's sake, I'll repeat it since she's here in case she forgot on missing in action. I know she's been a busy camper. She's making tons of money, or she's really helping out the community a lot, and she's a caring community member. But I'm in Delray Beach, Florida, or South Palm Beach County. Used to be in Rockland County, New York, but that's been like 29 years ago. So I forgot what New York looks like other than pictures on the internet. Our next up on our agenda is the Master of Ceremonies will describe what you might see at a Toastmasters Club, but we're going to use those same features here, which is if you're familiar with a timer, and I'll tell you how that works. And then we have an ah counter, which is we're going to count your ahs, ums, likes, so's, double clutches, double stars. If you want to know what one of those are, just put your information in the chat and or email me if you've never heard of double start or double clutch. Email me at wow@omgtalk.com. And when I'm not so close to the mic, Mary, how loud is it? Is it okay?
You're good.
Oh, great.
Clear. You're good.
Fantastic. And then the G is grammarian. Toastmasters clubs have this in 145 countries. I'll just keep track of the use of language, interesting phrases, hopefully positive phrases. We're trying to keep our small business podcast for small business. Anything positive, anything about communication, anything about leadership, use the words of the day, talk or listen. So if you use the word talk or listen, you get a big bonus. And so there are three parts to our meeting. No surprise, they're exactly like a Toastmasters club. And actually, Ralph Smedley, when he started the first Toastmasters club on October 22, 1924, there were about 24 men then, because it was in October 22 and 24, there was not a lot of women in a lot of different groups like Rotary and Toastmasters and Alpha Phi Omega's community service group as well that was national. It wasn't until the 70s where it became co-ed. So I'm glad to have you here, Mary. So our three parts to our meeting are we'll do some impromptu table topics. You'll get some practice with where is my phone? Did I put it in my pocket? Or did I plug it in? Maybe it's behind me. Where did my phone go? I have these.
I don't even have mine on me so I can call you.
Hey, hang on one second. Talk for 30 seconds for everybody listening. Even though it's not listening, it will actually be uploaded later, but it will be uploaded, so it'll like someone's listening. Where is my phone? That's weird.
So as we're getting Paul together and looking for his phone, it is October. And October actually is AAC Awareness Month. And what that is, it's alternative ways of communication for special needs individuals or individuals who have trouble communicating, speaking, listening, and talking.
So I'm sure that was some valid information that she said. I missed half of it, but I heard some of it, and I think it was probably right on target, knowing Mary. So I have here why my phone is because I'm going to record, or rather not record, but time Mary and I in the studio here while you guys are listening. And if you hear something and you hear this on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, feel free to put something in the comments or email me at wow@omgtalk.com. That's wow@omgtalk.com and say, hey, what's that timer thing is about? Or why do they stop at 1.5 minutes or longer? So let's do what's equivalent to table topics in Toastmasters, which is an impromptu speech for about 1 minute. But the timing criteria will be 1 minute. There's a green piece of paper that I'll flash up in the air. Then at 1.5 minutes, a yellow piece of paper will, if you're colorblind, hopefully it's close to that yellow. And then red at 2 minutes, and then you'll have 30 seconds to wrap it up. So the minimum time is to talk for 1 minute to qualify for an impromptu speech. And if you think that you can't make it to a minute, then maybe stop talking about 10 seconds in and let some dead air time go, because that dead air time is valuable speaking time as well. That's a tip. I just gave you like $1 million tip, Mary. So let's start off.
I always call it the breathe moment.
What's that? A what moment?
The breathe moment. It's that chance for you to stop, take a breath.
Right. Don't forget to breathe, Mary. All right. All right. So what do you wish you had a picture of? What do you wish you had a picture of, Mary? Go.
So what do I wish that I had a picture of? I wish I had pictures of my military time when I was deployed overseas and also when I went to boot camp. I had all that stored on my phone. And when I got out of the military and got here where I'm at now, the pictures are misplaced when my phone got stolen. So I have nothing left other than like 3 pictures of me of all the time I spent in the service. And so one of the things that I wish I had pictures of was that time period. It's more for me and nostalgia than it is for, hey, I'm in the military, wear my uniform. It's remembering all these times and also, to show my kids some of the different places I've been and done. Another thing that I wish I had pictures of was a lot of my grandmother and my uncle from my childhood. A lot of that stuff disappeared over time in all the transitions and all the moves. So really, a lot of pictures I wish I had were of the past, before they had digital cameras and before everyone carried a cell phone. And the other part that wished I had pictures of was back in the military, just to remember some of the fun I had. And those are the things that I wish I had a picture of. Thanks, Paul.
Mary is so good at this. Sometimes I'm really good at this, and sometimes I just have to stretch somehow a little bit. But the thing is, the beauty of if you ever end up in our meeting at omgtalk.com and look for the online stage link, you too on any Monday at 5:30 could practice this, but you'll notice that the purpose of table topics in a Toastmasters club or here using the same exact format agenda to practice because we'll have Toastmaster members here and when they get practice here, think how much better they're going to be even at their club in front of even more people as we grow as well too. And maybe even into a Toastmasters club. So let's pick another one, and maybe I'll give my chance to go in an impromptu because I haven't seen this card yet. If you went on a volunteer vacation, who would you like? Who would you most like to help? If I went on a volunteer vacation, who would I most like to help? Going to start the timer, and guests, fellow business owners, and guests, and most welcome guests are listening to us later on the social media. When I was much younger, and even still in my adult life, I have volunteered for Habitat for Humanity, blood drives, at a local synagogue, even at a church. Once a year, on occasion, they would have, or actually every year in the fall time period during Thanksgiving, churches and synagogues would get together, and I would volunteer for that. And we would serve the less fortunate at that church where they were not having a Thanksgiving meal, and we wanted to give people in the community who might not otherwise be able to have one whether their family was not around, maybe they were displaced, maybe they were in transition. And it was great feeling to be able to celebrate Thanksgiving with other people in the community, whether they're fortunate or not, just they're human beings out there. So that's always a great thing. And now it's my time. It's about 1:15. So I made it to the 1 minute mark. I didn't do the green because sometimes doing that multitask and timing yourself, you have so many balls up in the air and so many pieces of paper up in the air. But we'll go to our next speaker of the evening. What nicknames have you had? What nicknames have you had, Mary?
That is an interesting question. So, growing up and through my life, I have had numerous nicknames. So, as I talk about it and tell you, I'd love for you to listen. So, back when I was young, being from Minnesota, it's kind of like being like North Dakota or Alaska, even. A lot of us have diesel trucks, which means in the wintertime, you don't shut them off. They run all the time. So, one of my nicknames growing up was Diesel because when I was awake, my mouth didn't stop running. I was always talking. They knew where I was because they could hear me talking. If I wasn't talking to somebody else, I was talking to one of my toys or, things like that, which is why I'm so good at doing things like this. Another nickname I had because of me being neurodiverse, my brain runs a lot. So was Speedy, based off the old Looney Tunes character Speedy Gonzales, because I could talk really fast. Or it was similar to the Micro Machine Guy. The joke when I was younger was about being an auctioneer because I could talk just like an auctioneer. And as I got older, one of my nicknames was the porcelain doll because I was good to look at. You just didn't touch me because I didn't like to be touched. And then when I went through the military, because of my last name being Stanley, I was called Power Tools. So, of all the nicknames, the ones I remember the most and joke about is Speedy, Diesel, the doll, and Power Tools.
Oh, you did say power tools. I was wondering what you said. I thought it was power tools.
Stanley Power Tools.
Oh, geez. That's why you're so handy around the house. Okay. But
Hey, give me a duct tape. I'm handy everywhere.
that sounds like a nice punchline for somebody. If you ran for president, what in your past could be used against you. Oh dear. I think I would know what could be used against me, but maybe that could be used for me. Fellow business owners, please forgive me, most welcome guest. When I was in high school, I suppose I had a beer and I went to a party. I don't think I was of age yet to drink the beer. I don't even think I was old enough to drive. Oh, no, I must have been old enough to drive yet. But I definitely didn't go anywhere because I ended up behind somebody's couch. And I got a nickname all throughout soccer season that I don't know about being proud of, but I don't really care whether they said it or not, but they all thought it was like a big deal. And they all called me like Scruffy or something because I ended up on the carpet for like the whole night and woke up the next morning. But maybe that might be a strength. I know that I could stay put and not drive and just wait till the morning and wash up, be fresh, and start the day fresh at 6 in the morning and help my fellow citizens. Okay, back to you, Chuck. I mean, Mary. I mean, Miss Stanley Power Tool. All right, I got through that. What's the funniest commercial on TV, Mary?
Boy, that's a difficult one. The funniest commercial on TV. I don't watch commercials. I pay for not having commercials. So I got to think back to one that comes to mind. And one of the funniest commercials I remember was the old, I believe, was Burger King. It was the old lady in the rocking chair that always said, "Where's the beef?"
Wendy's.
Wendy's. There we go. The old Wendy's commercial. All you ever heard is, "Where's the beef? Where's the beef?"
Although I don't think there was no rocking chair. That was Cracker Barrel.
I just remember hearing it. Didn't watch much TV as a kid. It was background noise in our house.
But just breathe. It's okay. You got 12 minutes to breathe and say one more thing.
Another funny commercials I love watching are Super Bowl commercials. And last year's the best ones were the Doritos commercials. But of all commercials, my favorite would say is always the Budweiser commercials. But they're not funny. They're just very sweet.
I almost paused it, but then she talked again. Okay. I think she's stopping. I'll pause it. I'll stop it. Okay, next one. Which adjectives would you use to describe your home? You could take the same question after. What could I describe my home? It has walls. But that's not an adjective. Okay, walls is not an adjective. Roof is not an adjective. And it has a door. It's not an adjective.
Describe the walls. They're strong walls.
Thank you so much for the coaching. I have strong, sturdy walls. It doesn't have to an adjective though. Oh, an adjective.
Describes the perfect place.
An
Adjectives
adverb.
describe a noun.
An adverb has to have an ly at the end of it, but an adjective doesn't. Okay, it just describes the noun, right? Like you said. I'm taking myself back to high school.
Hey, my kids are learning what adjectives are right now.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what's the last adjective that the corn guy used? Did he? What was the last? Was it a clean adjective? Oh dear. All right. What else could I say about my house? It is a well lit house. There is bright lights all around it, so that when you are on the internet, you could see the people that don't know you approach your house, and then a big voice comes out from the bushes, like during Halloween. It says, "Beware, boo, who goes there?" It's comfortable. Well, comfortable is one of my favorite words because I want to do a speech. I will do a speech. Maybe I'll do it tonight. So I won't ruin part of it. I'll talk for 6 minutes and use the word comfortable about 400 times in a 6 minute speech. And I'll still have other words to talk about besides just saying one word, so I won't bore the pants off of Mary. saying just one word for a 6-minute speech. All right, our next topic is, which wine region would you most like to visit? And that doesn't that might include the kind where you're complaining about stuff. Wine.
So when it comes to, let's see, the wine area I'd like to visit, I do not drink, so that's not a question. But the place where my kids are whining to go see is, my daughter wants to go to Tokyo, and we have it set up for her to go when she gets older. But her constant whining about it is to go see Hello Kitty Land and go see the birthplace of Hello Kitty. So one of the areas that we're going is Tokyo, Japan, to see Hello Kitty, and I want to go see the area where the A bomb went off, Okinawa. I drew a blank for a minute there. And Nagasaki, another dream area that we've been talking about going, and the kids whined about not going to, is to go see the old castles in Ireland, going back to the birthplace of my ancestors. So, in conclusion, the whining areas that we want to go see, and they're dying to see, is Okinawa and Tokyo and Nagasaki and the old castles and green fields of Ireland. Thank you, Paul.
Oh, you're very welcome. Let's do a couple more. What's the funniest prank you've ever pulled? Oh, I guess it's my turn. What's the funniest prank I ever pulled? Well, I think an ongoing thing. Does other families do this? Business owners, leaders, family members, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, where we had the staircase that went in. It was in the middle of the house and it went up. That's an adjective. Another thing for my house, and I stood at the first three steps before it went up further, and around the corner I could hear Dad coming, and he didn't know I was standing in the staircase, and I would jump out of the staircase into the right before the staircase and just yell boo or something, and I'd scare the pants off of him. It seemed to be the kid that would always hide behind something and jump out and scare my parents. So that must have added a couple of gray hairs on top of what they already did raising me. And that's 1 in 3 minutes. How about that? On that note, what's in your refrigerator right now, Mary? It's a real question, by the way. I'm not making these up. What's in your refrigerator? I'm curious
uh,
anyway, too. What the heck?
so, what is in my refrigerator right now?
Any
Right now,
experiments?
no. So, in my refrigerator right now, because I just cleaned it out because it's garbage day tomorrow, we have milk, 2 gallons, and they're each in different containers. We have eggs, ketchup, mustard, all the different condiments, pickle relish, leftovers from yesterday, which is chow mein and rice. We have bottles of water. We have the filtered water for cooking. And let's see what else is in our fridge. In our fridge is also pop, which in Minnesota we call pop, not soda, which when I was down south got me hit a few times because I said pop and they said I was gonna, and they popped me. We have miscellaneous junk food like candy bars and things like that we keep in our fridge to keep it cold. And that is about all I know. Oh, cheese, and we have cheese in our fridge. So those are the things that I know of right now is in my fridge, so I can go grocery shopping tomorrow and restock.
What are your favorite cheeses?
I don't eat cheese. I'm lactose intolerant, but my kids love the Colby Jack, mild cheddar, and pepper jack.
Okay. Would you rather have more time or money? I guess I have to answer that. If you really want it, I'll let you do a rebuttal or crosstalk on it. Would I rather have more time or money? That's kind of a conundrum because how many people actually have both time and money? And if you have children, maybe you have less time than the rest of us. We're fortunate though to have just two of us, and we say we don't say a dog or a puppy. He's a lucky. For some reason, my mother said you can't call him a dog. I guess he's too much a member of the family. He's a fur baby. So we'd spend more time with him and my wife, or vice versa. But if you have more money, that means what? You can't have both? Why can't you have both? Who said you can't have both? Is that like is that a myth that you can't have both time and money? Well, I think they're talking about that people are working, they go from home to work and work to home and home to work and 50 hours for those of us that are still working. And you guys are still working, or you guys don't have to work? You're both from the military. You haven't, and that has enough pension to live and survive. I guess that means a yes based on that nice laughter.
Not even close.
So you still have some dreams and things you want to do, that is not on the budget they give you. Let's see. What do you eat in the middle of the night? Do you eat anything in the middle of the night? That's a real question.
So, what do I eat in the middle of the night? I grab whatever is easiest to grab.
It's not blood,
So,
right? You
no,
don't. So you're not a vampire then.
no.
Whew.
So, usually I grab, like, for example, pizza rolls or chicken nuggets I can just pop in the microwave. Sometimes it's leftovers. And if I'm really lazy, it's a candy bar or chips that I have on the candy tray. It all depends on how lazy I am when I get up and want to grab a snack. Or for me, the middle of the night means I'm getting up to deal with the kids or I'm going to bed after working. Because a
So
lot of my jobs are overseas, so their daytime is my nighttime.
so would you get up in the middle of the night at 2 in the morning and have a candy bar?
Hmm.
I guess it's a little extra sugar high. Let's reset that. Go to our next pop question. Who was the best teacher you've ever had? I think we've all had too many teachers between, or maybe not all of us could remember our kindergarten and elementary and high school, if those of us went to college or not, whether it's rated or not, whether you liked it or not. I think I'll hone. You might not have known unless you were in Rockland County, New York, at Little Tor Elementary School. My wife seems to make fun of me that every time we pass by, she says, "Little Tor, you went to Little Toe." She thinks she remembers it being Little Toe Elementary School, um, and the teacher had me right next to her, and it looked like I was the teacher's pet. So I guess I'll go with that one. But that being said, I don't remember anything from first grade, but I do remember that her name was Mrs. Rusky. Mrs. Rusky was her name. So if you're out there and you're still alive, yeah, she should be alive unless something got her. God forbid. Um, you know, dreaded illness from the last 60, 70 years. But do you know your first grade teacher?
My first grade teacher was Mrs. Dam.
Damn.
It happened to be, it was also my brother's teacher and my uncle's teacher. We ended
Well,
up with the same teachers through the whole family cycle.
my mom and I had the same marketing teacher in college, and then he died. So she says I killed him. Where is your dream home located, and what does it look like? Or are you in your dream home now? That's a real question, except for the last part.
So my dream house is located preferably towards the center of the country, where you have it doesn't get too hot but doesn't get cold. You still get the snow effect, similar to like Oklahoma or over by like Kentucky,
Is Kansas
Mississippi.
still far too far east, or is that middle?
Kansas is in the middle.
Hmm.
Even that would work in the Ozark area. So my dream house is an old plantation or old farmhouse with the round turrets, the big wraparound front porch, the upstairs where it's got all the rooms for bedrooms, a couple bathrooms. Downstairs, you've got the sitting room as you walk in the door. And then you have the dining room, a formal sitting area. And what I love about some of these old plantation houses is the fact that they have a kitchen outside,
Hmm.
which is why, see, that way I can cook in the summertime and not heat my whole house up, which is my dream house.
Hmm. Does that have some extra rooms when your kids move out? They can come back in, or they can come visit.
My kids will only visit.
Hmm.
We can all dream, can't we?
They're gonna. Do you want your kids to be astronauts so they'll be far away and they can come back?
They can be whatever they want, but my son is going to be a animal refuge specialist. He's going to create his own zoo.
Okay. Who's next? Me. Who's the greatest athlete who ever lived? Who is the greatest athlete that ever lived? I can tell you about a story about Uncle Gary, who was on my dad's side. He went to the Olympic trials on, I think it was called Randall's Island in New York. Um, and he was competing against Jesse Owens. Obviously, we know he turned out pretty good, but Uncle Gary ended up working after that trial at a TV station as a cameraman for his whole entire career, lived in Columbus, Ohio. But Uncle Gary, I suppose, would be the greatest athlete because at least he went to those trials and competed against somebody like Jesse Owens. Still 41 seconds, so I have time to breathe a little bit. And the last 12 seconds of it, I'll just make a commercial break that I haven't heard too many ahs and ums and likes and double clutches and double starts because I've been barraging us with lots of table topics to practice with.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do two more. Why not? Then we'll hear from our second part of our meeting, which is 6 minutes of what Mary's been up to in her job career. But do you have any crazy neighbors? That's a real question too. Do you have any crazy neighbors?
When we lived in our old house, which is 5 houses away from where I live now, we ended up with a batshit crazy psycho neighbor. It was so bad with her. She would watch what I'm doing. And so one day, my mom lived in the house that we're living in now. And so I did her laundry. And so I put all her laundry in my duffel bag from the military because it carried a lot. And I'd walk it over to her house. It was 5 houses away. My neighbor actually called my husband at work, telling my husband that I'm leaving him, walking. I live in the middle of nowhere. You ain't going anywhere if you're not on foot. So my husband calls me as I'm walking down the road. He goes, "What you doing?" I go, "I'm going for a walk." "Why?" And he goes, "Well, I heard an interesting story." I go, "Great, bring your point up. What's going on?" He goes, "You leaving me?" I go, "Seriously, if I'm going to leave you, question is where are my kids?" He goes, "I don't know." There's my point. I'm not leaving my kids home alone just to leave you. Go, I'm bringing my mom clothes to her clean clothes over, and I put them in double bed walkie. He goes, oh, okay. I just heard you're leaving. I'm like, no. If I left, no one would know it, not my crazy neighbors. That is one of my old crazy neighbors.
What neighbors think when they see us doing things outside our house? Every time I walk Lucky, they're always watching to make sure I pick up his poop. And I'm constantly seeing 3 poops on the grass, but we're the ones that get called upon. Don't neighbors have any other shit to talk about than Lucky's poop?
Shit.
Yeah, like real shit, like not literally shit. All right, let's jump to our second part of our meeting, and then we can get to evaluations and be more serious. Not that we're not serious, but it's great to actually have a meeting that's the same format as Toastmasters, because if business owners came in here, and they can next Monday at 5:30 Eastern Time at omgtalk.com, and just click on online stage, you'll find it there. If you have thin skin and you want to transform yourself into thicker skin, this is a great tool. And also, it's a great way to network and meet people. So, the second part is prepared speeches. Well, you'll have 4, I just said a filler word, 4 minutes at the green and 5 minutes at the yellow. And then at 6 minutes, the red, and then 30 seconds to wrap it up. I'll set the timer. This will be 6 minutes where I can take a coffee break and Mary can take the floor, the electronic floor, and tell us what's been going on in her business, her career, whatever she wants to talk about, as long as it's positive, uplifting for business owners to listen to and bring more law of attraction to her. Take it away, Mary Stanley, Children of the Cornland.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Paul. Supportive minds, healing through layers of the brain. So let's talk about the brain, not just the part that thinks, that the part that feels, reacts, and remembers. Because healing doesn't start with logic, it starts with understanding what the brain has been through. And what we do at Supportive Minds is we work with the layers of the brain to help people move from survival to safety and from safety to growth. You see, trauma doesn't live in words, it lives in the body. It hides in the nervous system, in the sensory overloads, in the shutdowns, in the tight chest, the racing through what we cannot explain. So before we talk about thriving, we talk about the safety. And before we can build new habits, we have to claim the old alarms still ringing inside the brain. At Supportive Minds, we help clients and families understand not only how trauma and neurodivergence intertwine, but we start with the survival of the brain. The oldest layer, it's the one that controls our fight or flight. It's the one that makes us breathe and helps our heart beat. It's also the fight, flight, or freeze, or even fawn responses. And when we feel unpredictable or unsafe, these parts take over. Then we move into the emotional part of the brain, the limbic system. This is where we hold our relationship, our memories, and our pain. And finally, we work with thinking part of the brain, the cortex. That's when we start planning language and reasoning. It's where all the different logical parts live. But here's the truth. You can't coach the thinking brain until the survival and the emotional layers feel safe. And that's why our approach is different. We don't push people to perform. We help their brains feel safe, safe enough to learn again. Our trauma-informed integrative therapies are backed by neuroscience, socially regulations, and compassion conversation. We use methods that target the nervous system, helping clients downshift out of the chronic survival mode. Through programs such as Operation Unmask, Mission to Thrive, and Sensory Armor, we support autistic adults, trauma survivors, veterans, and families to retrain their brain towards safety and connection, and empowerment. It's not just about clients, but we also train professionals, coaches, educators, and even health workers, along with first responders and parents, to understand what's happening beneath the surface, to see what behavior is as communication for the brain, not just the moral failure. To recognize that self regulation isn't taught, it's coached through safety and relationships. We teach people to listen to the brain before trying to change it, because you can't change what you don't know. And so we have to spend time listening to what our bodies are trying to tell us, then modifying what you're doing to help you overcome those struggles. Because when you understand which layer of the brain you're talking to, everything changes. A meltdown becomes a message, a shutdown becomes a signal, a reaction becomes a story waiting to be heard. Everything is built on one truth: healing happens in relationships. Science gives us the map, but compassion is the bridge. So when we create safety and survival, your brain shuts down, quiets down, makes it easier to adapt. And when trust returns, the thinking brain finally comes online. And that's when that transformation begins. So we target the brain, but never forget the human heart behind it. It isn't about quick fixes, it's about layered healing. It's about understanding what before reacting, listening before advising, and honoring every nervous system as a story of survival and hope. Because when the brain feels safe, the mind can heal. And when the mind heals, the person begins to thrive. At Supportive Minds, we bring safety to the brain, hope to the heart, and understanding to the world. Thank you so much, Paul.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're right in the middle point. Didn't go over. You're like the Goldilocks speaker of America. Didn't go too long. It didn't go too short. You went right in the middle at around 5 minutes. Fantastic. Our next speaker is from Delray Beach. You heard him talk at the beginning. You heard him talk several times trying to keep up with Stanley Power Tool here in the table topic session. Our next, I will say the title of his speech is Comfortable. Comfortable by Paul Finkelstein. And now we're starting the clock. A while ago in 1991, I got to visit Israel. And one of the places I stayed over a month period, I think my mother was thinking she could get rid of me and just fly me to Israel and maybe I'll love it there and never come back. But I did come back, but I did love it there too. And at the kibbutz in the north side by the Golan Heights, there was a kibbutz called Kibbutz Natur. And if you speak English, that's nature. It's spelled exactly like nature. And we took turns. It was a small kibbutz. And I had to get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was in my 20s, early 20s. And the other people certainly were complaining about it, but it was my turn to do it. And I had to go milk the cows on a kibbutz. Now, I didn't have to go all the way to Israel to milk cows. I could have probably went to Mary's Dream Home in the middle of the country in Oklahoma or Kansas or something. Maybe they have cows in Minnesota. I'm sure they have cows in Florida to farm too, in the north of here. But that guy that I met at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning in the middle of nowhere, it was pretty quiet in the Golan Heights area then in 1991. He only spoke Russian, this guy, and Hebrew. And I only knew English. I didn't know anything. And he was pointing to these, I think he was pointing to boots. And he wanted me to wear the boots. And I said my shoes, I didn't think he'd understand anything I said, really. And he didn't. So I just said one word. I said comfortable. And then I pointed to my sneakers, comfortable. And he repeated it, comfortable. And This Russians are saying comfortable. And then I pointed to my shoes and I said comfortable. And we went back and forth with one word, comfortable, because might as well learn a word together. And that was the word that we learned together, was comfortable. To make a long story longer, well, it's only going to be 6 minutes. Lucky you. I don't even know if Mary's listening, because it looked like she's
I'm
like, oh,
listening.
he's going to do a 6-minute speech and I'm going to finish my homework. Or work for the client. So I know you'll catch a couple of words. Now I'm going to flash forward to last weekend. So 1991 to last weekend, we were at a couple's house, a friend of ours, and the wife was from Ukraine, but her mom was from, I guess it was before it was Russia, then Ukraine. So, and the mother only knows Russian. So why did Paul, I did not plan this. It wasn't like the 1991 experience where I was milking cows at 3:00 in the morning, but I was with a couple that were expert Parcheesi players. What's an expert Parcheesi player? You probably have the game Parcheesi with your kids at your house, but all the pieces are everywhere around your house. I didn't know that there were 4 pieces for every player gets four pieces. I won, by the way, and they were expert Parcheesi players. But that being said, the mother only knew Russian, and I decided that I would learn to speak with her mom, because she would look like a nice lady. And I said, could you please teach me the word comfortable? And I guess I thought about that incident back in 1991 where I was milking cows with the Russian. And so she said comfortable back. And you didn't know what the word comfortable was, just like the Russian guy did 1991. And then 2025, the Russian lady grandma still did not know what the word comfortable was, because they had their own word, I imagine. They must have a word comfortable in Russian. You see the power of pause? You just stop saying something and just wonder where is he going with this? Comfortable. I thought it was so apropos because I'm in the financial business. And how many people, when they're not in the financial business, they hear financial professionals say buzzwords? I don't even know if it has to be a fancy buzzword. Maybe it's mutual fund. And then maybe half of America goes click because they don't know what that is or what's in it. Or do you? You don't have to answer that. It could be also you. It could be the people that are listening as well. It could be somebody commenting on social media or YouTube, etc. But there's other buzzwords too. There's buy low and sell high. There's sell high and buy low. Or why would you do one or the other? Or there's that screen, that scrolling tape that goes across a couple of the TV stations. How many people actually know that those are stock symbols, or they just don't even pay attention to it? And I feel like there's lots of buzzwords because I think that people are not comfortable with math, or they're not comfortable with those terms. And maybe they just don't understand the graphs, and they're just not a graph person or a math person, or they didn't even learn the rule of 72. And where are you going to learn the rule of 72? And even if I mention the rule of 72, that might make somebody uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. Wow. I should have been speaking that with the Russian as well, the word uncomfortable. And then have him repeat it back to me, uncomfortable. But that being said, at the close of my 6 minutes and 30 seconds to spare, if you want to be comfortable with your finances, I do recommend. Some people want to be a small level of comfort. They want a bigger level of comfort, and they want an even bigger level of being comfortable. There are 3 things that people can do, and that is, one is I can recommend a book. That's 44 pages. If you want it, just email me at wow@omgtalk.com, and I'll get you in touch with that free book that will help you learn all about those buzzwords that you're uncomfortable with in the financial area. The second thing is to get a coach that you can get for free. If you have a financial advisor that's charging you, I could recommend one that's not charging you for that free education, so you can get more comfortable. And then the third thing is ongoing monitoring of your financial stuff. If that makes somebody more comfortable by having ongoing monitoring, then that would be a great thing too. So my theme here today is to get you and me to be comfortable saying the word comfortable, and also getting comfortable with being financially independent. Okay, that's about a touch after 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Now we're going to go into our third part of our meeting, which is our evaluation portion of the meeting. I'm not having a stroke, God forbid. Where we start on a high note, we do the Oreo cookie method that you learned in Toastmasters, which is you say a few things, compliments from the speaker, and then you end on some compliments, and you have one or two, maybe one thing, a tip to improve. Am I boring you?
No, I've got a headache.
Oh, and you need some more oxygen too. That'll help.
Mm-hmm.
So, see if I could wrap this, get our meeting on with the show here, so you can, do you need to get anything for your head?
I'm gonna go grab a bottle of water. Be right back.
Okay, yeah, because that can make you angry if you don't have enough water. I heard. She'll probably, she can't slap me through the TV, the screen. So I'll talk more about the evaluation. It's really great when you go to a Toastmasters meeting and they have evaluations where you really don't have to come up with 50 things that the speaker did wrong. I think the speaker probably already knows some of those things, but they can get some great solid advice. But the great solid advice should come from the one thing that they could improve for next time, because people are not going to remember most of what you said as a speaker, let alone, because I did hear somewhere, out of maybe 100 years of public speaking from Toastmasters International, that 55% of a speech is nonverbal, eye contact, things like that, gestures, and 38% is tone of voice, and then 7% is the content. And so if people are not remembering all of your content, then I guess we should just focus on maybe being entertaining, maybe having a positive inflection in your voice, so you could make it a good experience to be remembered. And of course, some good solid information that could be inspiring for somebody to act upon. Our first speaker, though, was Mary Stanley. She goes by the nickname Stanley Power Tools. I wouldn't know that if I didn't do table topics before this meeting. So it's really great to do table topics before speeches, because you could learn about your upcoming speakers just from doing the table topics. So welcome back, Stanley Power Tools. Don't touch this porcelain doll, and Speedy Gonzalez and Diesel Mary.
That's right.
She's an exciting speaker. She is never boring. I don't think I have a hunch that she was never called a boring speaker. There are speakers that are boring. I think maybe those are the ones you recognize by the monotone. Maybe they're the ones that have the pocket protectors and they sound like this, and they say, hi, my name is Paul and I want to talk to you about public speaking. No, we won't do that. But Mary didn't do that. So what did she do well, though? I mean, she did a lot of those things well. She had passion in her tone of voice. She put on her glasses when she started to speak. Now, she might have had some keywords that were nearby, maybe a note card. It's good to have notes while you're doing a speech, although it's good unless you are reading and doing a reading to kids kind of a thing where you're reading the whole speech. And that's one thing, but it's great to use the note card so people think that. And Mary has no problem with that, even if she does an audio podcast and you can't see her. I think she does a live show. Maybe you can see her as well, if I remember. So what else? What else could I say about Mary's talk? I mean, so she had her glasses on right when she started to speak. So it made me think that she was extra smart while she's speaking, because glasses make you smart. That's what they say. Although in third grade, they didn't tell me I looked smart. I think that's why that was the first time I put on a pair of glasses was in the third grade, because I did not want to wear them. I think kids say mean things like four eyes or something like that. Do they still do that? Is that like bullying before bullying term even existed?
I don't
What?
know. My kids don't wear glasses.
So so she bypassed that, and like my wife doesn't even need braces. She had like perfect teeth. Did you have those teeth perfect also?
Yippers, I got lucky.
Well, your parents got lucky, right?
You don't have to live with me.
Um, so there must be well, that's a whole nother topic. I don't want to. I promised everybody that I would start on time and end on time, and I think we could still do that. We still have time to spare. Well, so to wrap up with Mary's speech, as I get distracted a million times in the middle of this evaluation, that I'm not even that I forgot to start the time for the evaluation. But we're not an official Toastmaster meeting, so it's good. I just wanted to improve every time you hear a speaker talk, and not leaving or wanting to not come back for several months and months and months and months and months, but still, even though that might still happen because she's a busy lady. So sometimes you just can't prevent busy people from not coming back for a while because they have other priorities that they need to tend to. So thank you, Mary, for having the guts to leave the ruts and actually speaking. That's really great as well. And then the speaker, myself, and I that just spoke up there, same thing. Whether there's one, two, three people, if it was just by myself, I was going to treat this as a podcast and get some practice being a master of ceremonies and going through a couple of table topics by myself and then listen to it later. That could be an interesting exercise. I think everybody should try it. I used to think it was really hard multitasking to do every single role in a Toastmasters club by yourself. But instead of introducing a president and a sergeant at arms and a Toastmaster and a table topic master and a general evaluator, I just get to call all of them the master of ceremonies and then and have you guys all here at OMG Talk Podcast, where we could interview other business people as well. And then we could introduce more. So if you know other business people, feel free to come out and hang out on a Monday at 5:30 Eastern at omgtalk.com or email me at wow@omgtalk.com or text me at 561-302-0051. And for those people that are afraid, if it's you and you're afraid to give your cell number out to anybody on one of the social networks, trust me, your phone's not going to ring off the hook. Mine doesn't. It just doesn't. People don't want to be sold anything, but they love to buy. Isn't that very interesting?
Or you can get a number through Google.
What's that?
You can get a number through Google.
Right.
So it's not even your own personal number.
Yeah, I think we're still listed. So I enjoy speaking and practicing and coming up with a speech on the fly. What do you think? Since as a like a little mini round robin of us here on the podcast, what did you think of the theme of using the word comfortable? Did that make you uncomfortable?
No. Comfortable is a good theme. It's cozy. It puts you at ease. There's a lot of associations with comfortable. It makes it easier to talk.
Did it seem interesting too?
It does when you start talking about different aspects of what is comfortable.
Different stories.
Even just defining what is comfortable is different for everybody else.
Mm-hmm. To think you could put just two letters UN in front of it and it changes the entire thing. Some people probably are uncomfortable coming here because they don't want to do video. I think we know at least one person. If you're listening, you've got to come out of the shell. Well, how would the doctor on Star Trek say it? Damn it, Jim. You can do it.
You're so asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I don't really watch any of the newer Star Treks ever, and I don't go to any of the conventions. It was just one of those shows like The Love Boat that just came on, or Gilligan's Island. I think that's dating me. Okay. What did kids watch today? Not Gilligan's Island. They don't watch anything. They use their phone.
Yeah.
There's no shows for kids to watch. They just do games or pictures.
My daughter's into watching Troll Hunters, Tingy Ping. She's all into. A lot of kids are now into the anime and like the Asian shows more than the American.
Yeah, we caught a Korean show on Netflix. It was about cooking.
Oh, that narrows it down. I can give you three of them right now.
It looks like a cooking show, but it's a king and cooking, and
Oh, yep.
it
The
was
chef goes back in time.
it was kind of slow, but I kind of liked it. And then it's funny that couple that was the Parcheesi experts from this past weekend, the husband was talking about these shows, and they said, "Oh, it has. We could recommend a nice romantic comedy with you." And this is King and the Korean, and it has subtitles. And I had just been watching a couple of those episodes, and I'm like, "That's the one."
Yeah, I watch a lot of them on Netflix.
So, do you like the cooking aspect?
I like a lot of the Korean shows because they're clean,
Yeah, that's true. It was clean,
very traditional.
but there's only like 12 episodes, so I have to find out if she gets back or does she stay there. Do you want to spoil it for us all here?
I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, you're not stuck either. So right now she's still there. She didn't go home yet. That's a bummer.
Yep.
So if I follow the exact Toastmaster agenda, like I said, even though I don't have to, um, I would have the Master of Ceremonies or General Evaluator review how we did with the word of the day. Did any of us say the word listen or talk
Yes.
accidentally or on purpose? Did each of us
Yeah, all
say
the
it?
above.
Or just you?
Yeah.
Did we both say talk and listen? Oh, you know what? I think I naturally had to say it because I cheated and said omgtalk.com. Interesting. Okay. And then was there any interesting phrases that got your goat? Another expression.
No.
No interesting phrases. Okay. Anything inspiring today? No.
Adjective.
Adjective. Agitating the adjectives.
How when you're forced into using adjectives, like you draw a blank. And you
It's
forget even what it is.
it's not the adverb thing with the ly.
That was the interesting part. It's like we all talk in adjectives all day long, but when you had to think about it, it's like
Yeah, you could have given me a hint like, oh, this is a small phone. Oh, small, an adjective. Okay,
strong,
strong,
white,
white,
cluttered.
cluttered, cluttered is an adjective. Okay, yeah, describe something. The cluttered boys' room, full of toys.
Cluttered can be an adjective or a verb.
Thank you. So, there's any awards that we should give out today? Let's see that your favorite. Did you have your favorite impromptu talk today? Let's see if I go over some of them quickly because there was a bunch. Look how many we did.
Holy wow.
Crazy neighbors, your favorite athlete, where is your dream home located, who was your best teacher you had, what do you eat in the middle of the night, would you rather have more time or money, what is in your fridge now, what's the funniest prank, which wine region would you most like to visit, not the whiny one, which objectives would describe your home. The funniest commercial on TV, if you ran for president, what in your past could be used against you, what nicknames have you had, if you went on a volunteer vacation, who would you most like to help, and what do you wish you had a picture of?
My favorite was one of them that you did, the prank one.
Oh, the prank. You could relate. You did some of that. Did
I always do.
all kids do that? But Mary could relive some of her Army days since she doesn't have enough pictures. I think they have some Army Navy stores that you could get some camouflage stuff and And you must have a uniform. That's like kind of cheap into the military. Call it an outfit.
Hey, it's a costume for Halloween. I am the laziest parent when it comes to dressing up for Halloween. I just put on
Costume.
my old uniforms, my military uniform.
Oh, you know what we needed? We need to have applause in this meeting because I guaranteed when you come here that you're going to get applause. So you finally got it. Congratulations, Mara! You came here. Is that Crystal Light or is that real lemonade?
Crystal Light.
Ah, they made it all the way up to Minnesota.
It did.
Do you have any last thoughts? Tell us one thing you liked about this meeting and one thing that you loved about this meeting. One thing you learned about the meeting. What you learned from the meeting and one thing you liked.
So what I liked is how it just flowed and went fast, even though I was late. I've learned how you can adjust what you're saying and how to amplify your voice and adjust your voice so you don't sound so whiny and baseline and boring by putting little marks in your notes as you're speaking to remind yourself.
Yeah, I think my style to write a 6 minute speech is to just put bullet points on a paper, and then each bullet point could be 1 minute.
Hmm.
Versus my wife will write a speech out, she'll type out 3 pages, and then she'll look up while reading it in between every other few sentences unless it becomes memorized, which I'm sure parts of it would naturally become memorized. I think that everybody should be able to do a 4 to 6 minute speech without a teleprompter. And I think there's too many people that are relying on electronic means to make things look fakeish.
Correct. But that's like, every small business owner that created their own business should be able to discuss their business for 6 minutes and not have to read a script. But most of them,
Do you feel like most of them do? That's crazy.
they do. And I'm one of those that'll interrupt and ask a question in the middle of it just to break it up a little bit.
Just to make sure that they're not an imposter.
Well, you got so many coaches that fly by night that turn around and read scripts that are designed for them that really don't know their field or craft.
Toastmasters is definitely fun too. Anybody should join it because it's the cheapest form of a coach anybody could ever get. I would always suggest if you even if you pay for a Dale Carnegie class, it's a 13-week class for once a week. That's like several $1,000s. But if you join Toastmasters, it's like $70.
It really helps your public speaking just to be able to
Mm-hmm.
talk in general.
No, that's for 6 months, by the way. So how much is that per cup of coffee? Like $70 for 6 months, and if you go once a month, or you could come here and come for free for 3 times and transform your thin skin to thick skin.
That's it. And get you out of your box.
You might still be in a box. The makers of those softwares don't seem to want to keep us in circles.
Mhm.
I think we should go back to something more interesting than a box, but I guess we need uniforms because it keeps things orderly. So if I end on a high note, what would my high note be? Let's hear. I love this inspiration that I usually like this to start the meetings with, but I started with something from this book that you'll have to catch it after I upload it, which is where I put my bookmark. That is my $1 million bookmark. Would this help you get to your dream home? There's no bill with a Statue of Liberty in it, is there? Okay. It's called Take Time. You'll have to listen to that when I upload it. But this is always a great one, which is the Lord must have loved ordinary people because he made so many of us ordinary. And every single day in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. Every single day in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things. And that's by Jimmy Valvano, the late basketball coach. He was competing with Notre Dame. He was such a fan of Notre Dame that he went to the school that he was coaching, which I think he was in Pennsylvania somewhere. No, New Jersey. No, Pennsylvania. I don't know. Now I'm second guessing myself. YouTube it. But the late Jimmy Valvano, he liked it so much that in the beginning of his coaching days, he went to the locker room to do a pep talk, and he said, "Let's go Notre Dame" or something like that, and it wasn't Notre Dame. So if you can't remember stuff, you could still be successful too because he won. Thank you for joining me here today, Mary. I think we'll go off the air and we'll have an intro and outro, so it won't look like we stopped here on such a high or low note. You want the last word?
Have a good night. I'm going to go lay down.
Feel better.